You wear different caps when you're a surveyor. First of all, you're a land surveyor. Sometimes you got to look into what an architect does. You got to think like one. You got to look at what engineers do, and you got to think like one. You're an archaeologist, a paleontologist, all these things wrapped into one, because you have to have an understanding of the land and the people that's been there before, and all those things that happen with it.
We do work for contractors, we do work for developers, and we basically solve problems. They have a concept and we try to help them fit it into the physical world.
Surveying is a very diverse field. Most of my work centers around private development work, so preparing sites and surveying work for new construction, whether that's buildings, churches, subdivisions.
Surveying for transportation projects, so road and bridge projects.
For municipalities, for sewer systems, for road infrastructure, for NDOT, for designing the new roads.
We can create a map or a plan for the engineers to design that highway or bridge.
My primary focus has been on mobile LiDAR, which is laser sensors and cameras mounted on a vehicle that drives through a scene, very similar to like the Google Street View car. Scan a scene, capture three-dimensional data, basically almost like a 3D picture of the entire scene, and then take that information in and do traditional mapping from that. Every day is a little bit different. There's always a certain aspect of adventure that goes with surveying.
For instance, Lucas Oil Stadium. Whenever they bought that up, I actually worked on that. They had to have the steel aligned properly so that when they open up that roof at game time, it's going to slide along just as it's supposed to and not get caught halfway down or halfway up. Earlier in my career, when they were building Market Square Arena, the top was a dome, and it wouldn't fit when they first started bringing it up. So they called on surveyors to make those measurements to tell them how to move the columns this way or that way so that that dome would fit.
We do work for just about anything you can drive by. Hospitals, we do work for commercial locations, we do work inside factories, helping lay out equipment sometimes.
A strip center, a shopping mall, in my case at least, highways, I-69, New 69 coming up, laying out the pavement, and the infrastructure, the drainage systems, the electrical systems. It's all touched by a surveyor.
The history of surveying, it's kind of an enigma, really, when you ask somebody, what a surveyor is or what surveying is, and usually you get that response of it's the guy that asked me questions about whether I'm going to vote in the fall or something like that.
Surveyors are kind of the go-between between engineers and the general public. We're the ones that collect data, topographic data, to make the maps, to make the plans.
We're really charged with maintaining the property boundaries of the properties and land within the United States. And without that, it'd be complete chaos. We have challenges as it is. We frequently get involved in boundary disputes.
You go into these neighborhoods and the property lines are in total disarray. People build fences with really no understanding of where their lines are, and it causes problems with neighbors.
If you're not specialized, then when you go to put that storm sewer in, you could have it in the wrong place, you could have it at the wrong slope. So there would be things backing up in sanitary sewers, let's say.
George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson were all surveyors. So we have a pretty historic past.
Back in the early 1900s, they measured with a 66-foot steel chain that had 100 links in it. They were 8-inch links, if you will, and that's what they pulled through the woods and they measured with, and they had a compass. And nowadays we have the LiDAR and the GPS and the EDMs and so forth and so on. It's going to continue to get broader and broader and broader from there.
We sometimes create 3D models that contractors can put in a bulldozer, and then the bulldozer will follow that 3D model automatically. We used to drive 1 million stakes in the ground on a large site. Now the larger contractors can simply enter the data model that we create, and the contractors' operators can then go out and just do it.
A lot of the technology that you've seen, comes from surveyors being innovative and wanted to use technologies that are out there and kind of focus them on what we do on a daily basis.
If you like math and you like to be outside, you like to be a problem solver.
I don't think you have to be a math and science whiz to be a surveyor, but a solid foundation in those categories.
We find a lot of people that like to work with their hands or be involved in that construction activity. This is a great fit for them.
If you're looking for something that is interesting, challenging, pays well, and not everybody does it, then do land surveying.